Today we are going to learn how to open a new map in ArcGIS Online and then to begin adding places to it. So the first thing we need to do is to get logged into our account. Now, if you have a username and a password, type them in. If you have a enterprise login where all you have to do is click to get in, do that. I'm going to sign into my account right here. So I come to this particular page, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on from above the content button or tab. And since this is something brand new, you can see I've got a lot of information already in here. But I want to be able to keep track of where my new items are. So over here, you'll find a little icon for a folder. And when you hover over it, it says create a new folder. So let's create a new folder, and I'm going to call this Minnesota Tour because the example I'm going to use is making a map of Minnesota with some important places located on it. So now I'm in my folder and it says, hey, you don't have any items yet, so we need to create a map. So up above here, I've got some choices, and the choice I want is map. So I click on that. And in this case, I have got a brand new map. If it's brand new, it should say my map over here. And it should look basically like this. There's nothing on it. And then I've got three buttons here. This is the About tab. This is the Content tab, which shows me I have one layer, which is what we're looking at right here. And then if there's a legend, we'd click over here. So we're going to have it clicked right here. And then we are going to kind of zoom in to the state of Minnesota. So I'm just going to click in a few times here, kind of get Minnesota close at hand. And now I'm ready to begin. So I need a list of places that I'm going to add to my map. So I've got a list right here. The very first one is called Split Rock Lighthouse. Some of you may have visited there. So I'm going to just be very simple here. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go back to my map, and then up here it says find address or place. I'm going to post that in there, and it says, is this what you want? And that's obviously what I want to do. So this takes me to Split Rock Lighthouse. So right now I've got two choices, get direction or add to map notes. We're going to add to map notes, but we're not going to do it this way. So we're just simply going to close this up. And now I'm looking at this. It doesn't really show me the lighthouse. So I'm going to change my base map, and I think I'd recommend everybody use this base map. It's called OpenStreetMap, and now we get a lot more information about that place. So now I'm ready to begin adding places to my map. So I go over to the Add button here, and I click on it. And the bottom option here is Add Map Notes. So I'm going to click on that. So the first thing it says, well, what do you want to title this layer of places? So I'm going to put this as my Minnesota tour. And I am going to hit the button called Create. And so now I'm in an edit mode. And over to the left here, you can see I have some choices. We're only going to worry about the top choice. And for the purpose of what we're doing, I'm going to recommend you just take and click on the push pin. And now if I go over to the map, it's going to say wherever you click, it's going to put that pin. So I'm going to put it right here next to the lighthouse. And then I'm going to label it Split Rock Lighthouse. And I'm just, for the time being, just going to close it up here. So now I want to add another place. We're going to come back and I'm going to show you how to edit these. So we'll do one more just for an example. So I'll go back to my list and I'm going to take Fort Snelling. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go back to my map. I'm going to put that in here. I'm going to delete the old one. Put that in here, historic Fort Snelling. And it's going to take me to Fort Snelling. Again, I'm not going to use this one. I'm going to close this. Now I'm still active. So when I click push pin, I can now take and put a pin here right on historic Fort Snelling. I'm going to close that up. And I'm going to put the name of it in this spot right here. And I'm going to close it. And for the time being, I'm going to click edit. So that means I'm no longer adding anything. And I'm going to click the minus button. I'm going to zoom out and see what we can see here. So as we zoom out, eventually we should be able to see I've got 2 points on my map. Okay. So now that I've added something to my map, I now need to save my map. Okay. And this is, it doesn't automatically save. So let's save our map. You don't do save as, it won't give you that chance. So he said, okay, so what do you want to call this map? I'm going to call this Minnesota Map Tour. And I have to add a tag. So I always add my initials because this makes it then searchable. And I'm going to add one more, Minnesota. And I'm going to do one more thing. Since many students in class are making a map, let's add our own name to the map. So I'm going to call this Jim Hansen. That's my name. And it says you want to save it here in the Minnesota Map Tour folder. I do. And so now I'm going to save that. And we can see now the name says Minnesota Map Tour Jim Hansen. So let's go back into the edit mode. If I click edit mode, I'm back here. I'm not going to add anything, but let's just say we'd like to add some additional information about Split Rock Lighthouse. And I'm just going to do something simple to say. I'm having trouble typing today. Popular Minnesota tourist. Spelled wrong. Locations. All right, so I've added that. And now I'm going to show you how you can add a URL, an image to your pop-up. So when we open it up, we'll not only see this, but we're going to see an image. So now I have to find an image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here. I'm going to do a Google search for images. And I'm going to search for Split Rock Lighthouse. So it knows that. But then I'm going to do one thing. We need to kind of be careful about the images that we use. So I'm going to say I want to look all of those minus any that start with .com. So now the only ones I'm looking at here are ones that are without .coms. Now I know for sure Split Rock Lighthouse that's in Commons Wikimedia, I can use that. So I'm going to click on that. So I'm going to copy the image address. I'm going to open a new tab just to see if it works. Yep, works great. So here's the image that I want up here. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go back to my map. I'm going to actually paste that in there twice. I'll explain why in a minute. And I'm going to close this. I'm going to close the editing. I'm going to save it. And now when I click on here, I get my little message. I get a picture of this. And now if I click on the picture, it will take me to that larger view that you saw earlier. So that's basically how you continue to add your places. So now if I'm ready to go back and go to my next one, I always click the edit button. It turns on that layer. So these will all be in one layer. I'll go back to my next one, which is, say, the James J. Hill House. I'll make a copy of it. I'll go back to my map. I'll delete this one. I'm going to put the James J. Hill House. And lo and behold, sometimes it takes you way far in, but here I am at the James J. Hill House. There it is. And so again, I can add that to my map again. And I can label it. And I could add some information. I can close it. Click edit. Zoom back out again. And save my map. So that's the basic process that you're going to use for adding items to your map. Hopefully this has been helpful.